Today, we're gonna go through my collaboration. We're gonna explore how do I approach collaborations, what did I learn, and I will tell you how it all went. Everything started when my sister told me that one of her friends that is in the beauty industry really liked my work. We talked together and she agreed that she would love to work with me. We both reached this idea that it should be a portrait of her. She told me that I have complete creative freedom. And when I heard this, it was like a green light for me. There's something magical when you don't want to put an artist in a box. So when you do this, you're gonna have such good outcomes of it. At least in my case. When a person would look at my portfolio, they would not really expect me to be drawing a beauty illustration. But believe it or not, I have a BA in fashion design and styling. And I had a whole previous life of creating basically beauty editorials. This was not anything new for me. And I'm gonna transform my knowledge from making editorials with models to painting. And I was honestly very excited. I didn't do anything like adult in a long while. I needed this kind of new thing, a new change. Before I even started this project, I already got it clear in my head that this is not just a collaboration. I'm gonna look at it as a client just to make it like more professional. When you are working on something that is not so official, make it official in your head and then gives it additional importance that you need. If you're a creative individual as me and I'm like all over the place, it kind of makes you more concentrated. So it's all mind games when it comes to my creative freedom. I really like to make everything not so strict, but just set some boundaries and rules in my own head. And that's how you work with yourself when you don't have a boss. We are starting this project, and for me, the first thing that I need to know when I start a project is everything about my client. I want to know what is that they do exactly. Are there any colors for their brand? Are there any visual styles? I would not like to create something that is not cohesive with them as a person, especially if they market their business through their personality. So I researched and I found out that our client does lash lifts and does makeup. So we need to focus on lashes in this illustration and some makeup in this illustration. And she's also an educator. And now we need to make a mood board. And a mood board for me is choosing elements that will visually represent what we want to say through our illustration, but also choosing kind of the vibe of it, the inspiration behind it. If you have any like paintings. One of my main inspirations is the Birth of Venus by Botticelli, and actually this painting is now in Florence in the Uffizi. The composition actually shows the goddess of love and beauty arriving on land on the island Cyprus. The goddess is standing on a giant scallop shell, as pure and perfect as a pearl. She is met by a young woman who is sometimes identified as one of the Graces and who is holding out a cloak covered in flowers. It's highly probable that the work was commissioned by a member of the Medici family. This hypothesis is also born out of the orange trees in the painting, which are kind of an emblem of the Medici dynasty. And additional elements that I decided to place in my illustrations were flowers, of course flowers. Also little blooming flowers showing like growth and like delicate beauty. And I wanted to show makeup, of course, and I needed to research what is a lash lift. I didn't have any previous knowledge of what's a lash lift. So I kind of needed to research the basics, at least, of a lash lift just to know what are the tools that they use. So I can draw some of them in the illustration. And now that we have all of these elements together and we made our mood board, we are starting with our sketch. We need to make like good composition. I really wanted it to be her looking at the viewer, with her hair flowing, positioning of the flowers, and the positioning of the additional tools as symbols. We really needed now to nail her physical appearance to make her look like herself, because I would not really be happy if she was so cartoonish that people would not recognize that it's really her. It would not be that powerful if it didn't look exactly like her and people could really recognize her, because then it could be mistaken for just like a beautiful poster. But the thing is, she is kind of the face of her brand. It needed to be her. Search or ask your client for a lot of images in this position that you need. Then study their facial features. Put them inside of Procreate or whatever program that you use and draw over them. Draw over the features. Try to even place shapes in the face so you would understand their facial anatomy. Because with these squares, you will understand the 3D shape of their face and kind of build it in this 2D world that you're drawing in. It will help you paint it to add the shading into it, and it will just kind of make you understand more the proportions of the face that you're drawing. And when you finish with that, you can even save it for yourself, then open up your sketch again and try sketching it out again with this already in your head and in your hands. These are just like the techniques that I use, and I hope they will help you as well if you want to draw portraits. I made this sketch and I was happy with it. I thought it looked like her, so I sent it to the client and the client was very happy. We got an approval of the sketch phase and we started the next phase, which is coloring. But you know what happened to me when I started coloring? Arcane happened to me. Arcane. And Arcane hit me like a brick, a creative brick in my head. I couldn't stop thinking of how beautiful the painting style was. And I think me and the rest of the internet couldn't stop thinking about how beautiful the painting style was. This kind of gave birth to a thought in my brain that I had for a while, and I was discussing with people around me. My art felt like it was missing this 3D element to it, kind of missing some depth. So I was always wondering, how could I add this element into my work? And I wanted to kind of incorporate inspirations from Arcane and try to add this to my collaboration. And let me say something to you. Please learn from me. When you are doing already a new thing, please don't add an additional new thing for yourself unless you're willing to suffer. Because this brought me a lot of pain and suffering. I made it so difficult for myself because my previous coloring style was flat. This meant me having to search for new brushes, experiment with brushes, experiment with shading styles, learn a lot, watch a lot of YouTube videos, research how they did it, looking at the details, studying the features. So we didn't have any like deadline for this because I don't know, I would not be able to finish it in this style because I needed a lot of time just to go deeply into this new style that I wanted to try. It was very difficult. I am not a person that experiments this easily, but I am trying. I am working my ass off to do this, you know. I really would like to add new stuff to my work and I see how it's important. I really tried hard to learn this technique. And I found a YouTube video with a brush that really helped me. I'm gonna link it down below. If you wanna find this brush as well, just look through the comments of the video. You're gonna find the brush. The painting process was very difficult for me because I was learning new painting techniques. I felt like I was suffering through it, but then I kind of understood that for me not to have these bad feelings, I needed to just set like a part of the day when I'm gonna do it, and that part of the day is gonna be like the beginning of my day because then I'm the most excited to work, excited to create stuff, and then I'm gonna just do it for a time period that I'm happy with, and after that I'm just gonna stop. Like if it's an hour, half an hour, 5 lines this day. I am not putting any pressure on me and I'm just gonna paint until I enjoy it, experiment, have fun, and not give myself this kind of pressure or time pressure, anything. Because my client, she doesn't care like if I will deliver this in a month or in 2 days. You kind of make this time schedule for yourself because if you are painting or drawing for a long while, you already know what time you need. Like I already know that for one illustration, I need a week. When this time slot is past, you feel like you need to be regular on social media, you need to post more, and all of these pressures are building up. So for this project, I just put them all aside. Like I just knew that it doesn't matter. Like, I just needed to set this boundary for me. Nothing matters. You're just working on your project. You are the one that is making the rules for yourself. While I talk about the book that really helped me through this situation, here are some cute videos of my cat. For me, the War of Art book by Steven Pressfield worked wonders. Whether you're an artist, writer, or pursuing any kind of dream, this kind of gives you a push to get going. He doesn't treat art as a mystery. He says that we cannot really manufacture inspiration, but you can get your butt in the chair every day and do the work so the inspiration has the opportunity to actually come. Also, he mentions that a difference between the professional artist and an amateur is that the professional artist loves the art enough to allow himself to do this job every single day, to pursue it without any fear, and the amateur just does it on the weekends. It's kind of rough, but it really helped me to channel the energy for this tough period of experimenting with art. The first day I painted for maybe an hour. Then the next day I painted for a bit longer. Then the third day I just painted for like 5 minutes. But then during that whole week I just did a lot more. And I finished the painting quicker than I thought because I didn't put these pressures on myself. It made it easier for me. When I thought the painting was done, I delivered it to the client and she gave me really good feedback. Because even though I was very happy with the painting, I was looking at it for hours and the client just saw it and she knows her face. She gave me some really good ideas for adjustments, which were make her hair fall in like a little bit of a different way at the front and to make her more happy. When I made these changes, it was like my eyes were open. I thought like, oh my God, how didn't I see this, But it's just like you're too much into your own work. You don't really see what is needed additionally. And I blame Arcane for the grumpy face. Honestly, I do. I was looking at it for way too long and I think all of the characters there are kind of grumpy or sad or like very serious, and I think that transferred on my work. The project was then done. I sent the edits to the client. She was very happy. I was very happy. I exported it for printing because she told me that she would love to put it in her beauty salon, and that just made my day. Because even though I have been previously published, my work has been previously published, somehow knowing that my illustration will be somewhere in my city and somebody will appreciate this work is an incredible feeling. Honestly, an incredible feeling. I think I never painted something like this previously. I was very proud of it, honestly. So the pain of learning a new thing, actually, it made sense. And of course it did. I mean, growing as an artist always does this. If you are willing to try to collaborate, just be careful because I knew this person and that this collaboration between us will be fair. But if you don't know the person and you want to collaborate, before you even start, set your boundaries, set your expectations, set your rules, but also be open. I mean, we're all humans. It's just what I learned with working with people. Not all of your ideas are going to get accepted, and being patient and willing to collaborate is very important in it. For me, I would say I'm going to send you a sketch. You can tell me if you would like something to be changed. Then I'm going to change this. And if you're happy with it as well, we will start with the coloring phase. Before we even start the coloring phase, just make sure that you're happy with the sketch because I will not be able to make big changes in the illustration after the sketch phase is done. Once we start the coloring phase, again, we can make some changes, but they're all based on the colors, not really on the drawing itself. I don't know, if I drew you and then you tell me, oh yeah, but I want you to draw me from a different angle and we already painted it, that's not gonna work. Like, you needed to tell me this previously, just so you can avoid wasting your time. And trust me, like, a lot of people don't really have experience with working with artists. Be very clear, and after the painting process we can adjust the colors and that's basically done. Maybe add a little bit changes, you know, it's fine to be like open for changes, but in the same time, don't let a person like bully you. Set some boundaries for this collaboration to make sense for you as well. My final thoughts on collaborations are very positive. Maybe I was lucky because the person that I worked with really liked my work, let me be free and creative as I want to. Was not a difficult client at all. Like, she's changed so little. It was kind of a breath of fresh air, you know. All the time when I used to work, they would change a lot. Also, I grew as an artist. I grew in my drawing style because I decided to paint in the arcane way. Not really, but inspired by arcane. And I also grew a person to match their physical appearance, which was not a thing that I did previously. Will I be doing more portraits? I don't know. It really depends on the person that I'm gonna draw, if I feel like it. Will I be doing more collaborations? It really depends on the person I'm collaborating with. We will see what life brings me, you know. Let me know how you approach client work, how you approach collaborations. Is it the same process or do you make different things? Tell me what you think about my way of approaching things and share your collaborations with me. I would love to see what you did. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one. Bye!